Future Saga Chapter 4 will not just lead to what is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, but actually into Fu's vision of the future, where heroes and good guys will be fighting each other, and we can actually see this at the end of Future Saga Chapter 3. All of the data he's finally collected after all this time is going completely haywire, and there's only one way to contain it: by balancing everything out with an ultra superhero, hence the green energy that we see in the Future Saga Chapter 4 teaser. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Doja here, back to more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and again I wanted to talk about the ending of Future Saga Chapter 3 as well as the beginning of Future Saga Chapter 4, because we know very much that the timeline is going to be manipulated again. Obviously that's the whole point of Xenoverse 2, but it's going to get manipulated more than ever, because not only does Fu have to make a separate sword for the one he lost, but Supreme Kai of Time's green kind of good guy energy is pouring on Fu at the end. We know that the Ultra Supervillain energy is already the opposite color of the green one. We literally see this at the end of Future Saga Chapter 3 story, for goodness sake. Fu's vision for the Future Saga Chapter 4 story is just probably going to be rebalancing most of the mistakes he's made, to be honest. You can kind of tell during Future Saga Chapter 3, he was ultra locked in, like he wasn't even really like making jokes. He was extremely serious, and he actually hated seeing the main character, which is us, because for the most part, Fu's always been kind of our biggest fan, even though we're foiling his plans. But this time around, he was like really upset, so he went overboard. You know, he got Frieza, he got like Frieza to like have all these extra super duper powers, like, you know, Time God and all that stuff, and Fu wasn't really against the whole thing. He was like, whatever, you know, more chaos equals more data for my research and blah blah blah. He didn't really care, but like you could tell towards the end, especially after he lost his first sword in our timeline, that he was like, oh, I made a mistake, and maybe I messed up the timeline too bad by having that ultra super villain Frieza stuff happen. So most likely he's again gonna just make a better change instead. I'm not sure if Fu will be the reason why there's a new villain. A new villain might just spawn in from how destroyed time is in general. Like maybe Demigrad's gonna make a return or something. Or maybe we'll even have Toa and Mira make a return. Who knows, right? Because again, the Future Saga Chapter 4 DLC will lead to Xenoverse 3, basically, like no matter what. So you kind of have to have the DLC like address what's gonna happen next, or even like kind of tease what's gonna happen next, or at least conclude Fu's story. Because again, we know that even if you don't think Age 1000 is Xenoverse 3, by the way, Age 1000 is still a future timeline game, meaning Xenoverse at some point would have to wrap up so that future timeline game can happen. So even if you don't think Age 1000 is Xenoverse 3, regardless, Xenoverse 2's final DLC will lead into the next game, because the next game is a future timeline game, and future timeline games kind of don't run alongside each other. Again, Dragon Ball Online ended so it could become Xenoverse, and Super Dragon Ball Hero stuff even got moved over to Xenoverse as well. So all of these future timeline games, they kind of just are in the same continuity-ish, you know? Like, I'm actually shocked we haven't even got Xeno Goku yet in Xenoverse 2, to be honest, because now that Super Dragon Ball Heroes is over, you could just add Xeno Goku and everyone would buy him. It's just Super Saiyan 4 Goku with an even cooler fit and of like more moves and greater experience. You could even add their limit breaker forms, but that's besides the point. I just really wanted to talk about, for the most part, Fu was just devastated by the fact that he's kind of just messed everything up. So he's probably going to make, you know, a good change in history. And I've already said this, my ideal, or what I think he's going to do as a good change in history, is probably make an ultra superhero instead. Again, the best tease of this is that the portal at the end of the Future Saga Chapter 3 trailer shows the portal going from like the usual dark energy to, you know, the big green energy. And green is the opposite of purple. You just have to reverse the colors, and you can literally see that ultra supervillains have the opposite color scheme to Supreme Kai of Time's powers. Supreme Kai of Time's powers are green, ultra supervillains are purple, pink. You know what I mean. So obviously Fu is actually going to make a better change, and if it's not Fu, then maybe Supreme Kai of Time is actually going to lock in like crazy. We know during a Future Saga Chapter 3 story, she does do this as well. You can actually see the same green effect surrounding the screen during the final boss fight against Ultra Supervillain Frieza. When he tries to reset time on you again to like make sure you never beat him, Supreme Kai of Time stops him the second time, and it, you know, it gives you a massive buff so you can actually like take over and beat you know, Ultra Supervillain Dark Time God Frieza. Now, I'm not saying that this probably won't happen again, but like Supreme Kai of Time probably isn't gonna, you know, interfere too much in the story. I do think it'll probably be more so an ultra superhero thing, whether it's ultra superhero Goku, because again, Goku is the most popular Dragon Ball character. It would just make more sense to give him a unique special form, especially since it's going to be the end of Xenoverse again with this final DLC. Or it could be again a buff for custom characters, because, you know, we're the chosen one, right? We fight off all the bad guys. We've been exposed to this ultra supervillain stuff a lot. It would make sense if we developed like a natural counter to it. And also the devs really like doing universal transformations again. Like again, we have Beast and Ultra Instinct. It's been ages, and we don't even have like, they haven't made Super Saiyan 4 as an example, right? They didn't do GT Super Saiyan 4 or Daima Super Saiyan 4, most likely because again, they're saving them for Xenoverse 3. But it would have been a really good chance to add those forms, at least for money, but I think they're focusing more on universal transformations, which again would make sense if we're gonna get one for all races. It would be Ultra Superhero, because again, everyone can access that power. Maybe we'll have a green crystal on the other side of our chest, or maybe we won't have a green crystal, maybe we'll just have green aura. Again, kind of like how the beast hair gives you the beast aura. You don't even need to have like the hairstyle or the crazy eyes. You just need like to have the aura for the most part, and like a slight design change. You don't need to have the big hair, because again, Friezas and the Namekians can go beast, and they don't have hair, so yeah, and the margins too, you know, so I think that's really, really funny. Not to mention, it's been a while since the last transformation, right? When did we get Ultra Instinct? Future Saga Chapter 1? That was years ago, like a lot of years ago. So we're pretty much bound for a second one. And obviously, you know, you'd expect SSJ4 because it's like a money-making form, right? They just released SSJ4 Daima. It would make a lot of money to just make another Super Saiyan form, especially because Saiyans are the most popular thing in Dragon Ball in general. So obviously, yeah, they could, you know, they could make Super Saiyan 4. I could be wrong. And maybe Fu's green power-up, or the green power-up that we're getting teased about in the last DLC, is going to be something else entirely. But I do kind of doubt that. I do feel like they're going to focus on making Super Saiyan 4 the next game's like special transformation. Again, a good example is we never got Super Saiyan 3 in Xenoverse 1, despite the fact that Super Saiyan 3 was really, really old, and that Super Saiyan Blue was getting introduced into the game. They saved Super Saiyan 3 for a Xenoverse 2 reveal trailer because they knew, oh, how are we going to get the fans hyped for how their custom characters are going to be different in the next game? I know, show Super Saiyan 3. Now, obviously, in later trailers, they did show, you know, golden form for Frieza race custom characters, pure forms for Margins, giant Namekians, and all that stuff. But for the most part, again, Saiyans are the most popular thing in Dragon Ball. It just makes sense to save the biggest, most popular thing as the reveal trailer thing, because that's the first time people are going to see the game for real. Again, first impressions are the lasting impressions, because they're usually the ones that live the freshest in your mind. So obviously, again, if they just wait to the next game to reveal SSJ4, people are going to go, hey, that's cool. I'm not going to forget about that anytime soon. Now, the whole time I'm waiting for the game to come out, I'm thinking about SSJ4. They did the same thing with Super Saiyan 3. They did the same thing with Dragon Fist and Final Kamehameha. All of these moves that we didn't have access to in Xenoverse 1. It's most likely going to be the same thing with Xenoverse 3. Anything that they haven't revealed yet, they're just going to be saving for the next game. A good example is we're going to get the Moro arc and then the Granola arc. Obviously, those arcs, like, we know they're going to be animated, so technically they could just start adding the manga content now. But it makes more sense to just save it for the next game, because it's going to push the next game sales a whole lot. Like, what makes more money? Milking the last few Xenoverse 2 players who are willing to buy any kind of DLC, or a whole new game with a promise of new gameplay, new changes, updated graphics, better netcode, more content, etc., etc. It just makes more sense to make a, you know, a new game and just market the new game with new stuff. It just, yeah, I'm trying to think of this from a standpoint of how, one, it benefits the players, and two, how it benefits the company. Because the company's not going to be completely selfless. I need you guys to be honest about that. Otherwise, you could just say, well, they could literally just add everything to Xenoverse 2, and they could make it free, because it would benefit the players, right? Like, no, it's never going to be that simple. They obviously just going to put all this, you know, hype new stuff in the next game. So, to end things off for this game, we're going to get exclusive things for this game, which would be, you know, Ultra Superhero. Ultra Superhero doesn't have to transfer over to Xenoverse 3. It could just be an exclusive final unlock for the last few Xenoverse 2 players, or the last few people willing to see the end of the Future Saga DLC. But I do think that's a pretty good place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, obviously, again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel. Let me know what you think about this all in the comment section down below. Again, don't forget, we were already supposed to get the end of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and that did get delayed because the game was way more successful than even the devs thought. But for real, this time, they're cooking up the actual end of Xenoverse 2, so we can finally actually get the next Xenoverse game, and not just another Dragon Ball The Breaker spin-off. So, yeah, I think that's a great place to end. I do love you all. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you fellas all next time. Take care and peace.